When we talk about struggles, the very first mistake many people make is pretending they don't exist. We live in a world where everyone wants to show strength, composure, and perfection. Nobody wants to appear weak, broken, or in need of help. But the truth is, denying your struggles doesn't erase them. It only hides them temporarily, burying them under layers of silence and false smiles. And what happens when we hide something heavy? It doesn't go away. It sits there, weighing us down more and more until eventually we collapse. Acknowledging your struggles is not a weakness. In fact, it is the beginning of true strength. Think about it. How can you fix a problem you refuse to admit exists? If a wound is left untreated because someone insists it's nothing, infection spreads. But the moment you acknowledge, yes, I am hurt, yes, I need care, healing begins. Struggles in life are the same. Denial only delays growth, while acknowledgement accelerates it. Philosophers have long argued that human beings become stronger not in spite of their suffering, but through it. Friedrich Nietzsche said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost anyhow." In other words, if you understand that struggles are part of your story, part of the reason you are becoming who you are meant to be, then their weight transforms. Instead of crushing you, they begin to shape you. But acknowledging struggles requires honesty, and honesty with oneself can be frightening. Why? Because it strips away excuses. It forces you to face truths you may not like. Maybe you are afraid, maybe you feel inadequate, maybe you are simply tired of life's demands. By admitting it, you confront the raw human reality that you are not invincible. Yet, paradoxically, this admission is what makes you resilient. You stop fighting shadows and start addressing what is really in front of you. There is a psychological dimension here as well. Studies in cognitive behavioral therapy suggest that naming your struggles, putting words to them, immediately reduces their emotional intensity. It is as if the act of saying, "I am anxious," or "I am overwhelmed," takes some of the poison out of the experience. Your mind shifts from being consumed by the emotion to observing it, analyzing it, and eventually controlling it. The very acknowledgement becomes an intervention. Spiritually and philosophically, struggles remind us of our humanity. If everything in life were smooth, we would grow arrogant, careless, and disconnected from empathy. It is in struggle that humility is born, and with humility comes wisdom. When you say to yourself, "Yes, I am struggling," you open the door to connection with others who struggle too. Suddenly, your pain is not an isolated prison, but a bridge that allows you to understand the pain of others. That is a gift. Now, many people fear acknowledgement because they think it makes them appear weak in front of others. But let us think deeply. What is weakness? Is weakness falling down, or is it refusing to get back up? Is weakness admitting you are in pain, or is it pretending you are fine while you silently fall apart? Real weakness is living in denial. Real strength is looking at your situation squarely in the face and saying, "This is where I am, but it is not where I will stay." And there is another important angle. Acknowledging struggles gives you clarity. When you say, "Yes, I am stressed because of work," or "Yes, I am heartbroken because of loss," or "Yes, I am lost in direction," you give your mind something concrete to work with. You can now ask yourself, what is one step, however small, that I can take to move forward? Without acknowledgement, there is no clarity, and without clarity, there can be no action. At night, before you sleep, this step becomes even more crucial. That quiet moment when the noise of the world fades, when the masks come off, is the perfect time to simply be honest. Whisper to yourself, "This is what I am carrying today." Don't judge it, don't curse yourself for it, just recognize it. This acknowledgement alone prepares your heart and mind for the healing practices that follow: reflection, release, gratitude, visualization. But it must begin here with honesty. So the next time you are tempted to brush off your pain with a fake smile or distract yourself endlessly just to avoid it, pause, acknowledge it, sit with it even briefly, because struggles unacknowledged become chains, but struggles acknowledged become stepping stones. And if you remember only one thing from this, let it be this: denial makes you a prisoner, but acknowledgement sets you free. When the day comes to an end and the world around you grows quiet, there is a window of time that many people waste without realizing its power. It is those final moments before sleep, when the mind is winding down, that you have the opportunity to shape how tomorrow will begin. Unfortunately, for many of us, this time is filled with endless scrolling, mindless entertainment, or anxious replaying of events. We either distract ourselves until exhaustion takes over, or we let our minds run wild with fear and regret. But what if instead of this cycle, you use those minutes as a deliberate practice of reflection, looking back at your day, learning from it, and closing it with purpose? Reflection is not about overthinking or drowning in self-criticism. True reflection is about observing with clarity. It is saying to yourself, this is what happened today, this is what I struggled with, this is what I overcame, this is what I learned. It's not an exercise in blame, but in wisdom, and the difference is crucial. Overthinking digs you deeper into the hole of worry, while reflection gives you the ladder to climb out. Think of the mind as a notebook. Throughout the day, we scribble all kinds of things into it: conversations, stresses, mistakes, achievements, random thoughts. By night, the pages are messy. If you go to sleep with that clutter untouched, your subconscious spends the night wrestling with it, and you wake up heavy. But if you pause to reflect, even for 5 minutes, you organize those pages. You highlight the lessons, cross out the unnecessary, and leave your mind lighter, clearer, and better prepared for tomorrow. Psychologically, reflection helps you shift from an emotional state to a rational one. When you review the day, you move from feeling to thinking. For example, instead of just saying, "I'm angry," you recognize, "I was angry because I felt ignored." That subtle shift transforms raw emotion into understanding, and understanding gives you control. Without reflection, emotions remain unprocessed, and you carry them like baggage into your sleep and your next day. Philosophically, reflection connects you to the deeper meaning of your journey. Life is not just a string of random events, it is a narrative unfolding with purpose. Every struggle, every success, every encounter has something to teach you. But lessons are never forced upon us, they are discovered by those who pause to look for them. Reflection before sleep is like turning the day into a teacher. You sit in class each night and ask, "What did today come to teach me?" This practice also protects you from the dangerous illusion that life is just happening to you. Without reflection, days blur together, and you feel like a passive passenger being carried by time. But when you reflect, you realize that you are actively shaping your story. You see the choices you made, the opportunities you seized or missed, the ways you responded to pressure. That awareness reignites responsibility. You stop drifting and start steering. Now, it's important to understand that reflection is not about perfection. Some people avoid it because they fear confronting their mistakes. But reflection is not meant to condemn you, it is meant to guide you. If you recognize that you lost your temper, reflection is not about hating yourself for it. It is about acknowledging, "I struggled with my patience today, tomorrow I want to try again." That shift in mindset is transformative. It moves you from shame to growth. One powerful way to reflect is to ask yourself 3 simple questions each night. What challenged me today? What did I learn from it? What am I grateful for despite it? These questions keep you balanced. They stop you from dwelling only on the negative, but they also prevent you from ignoring the reality of struggle. They help you see the full picture of your day with both honesty and hope. There is also a spiritual dimension here. Reflection humbles you, reminding you that you are not perfect, but also reassures you that you are capable of progress. It creates a rhythm of accountability that keeps arrogance away, but invites mercy and compassion toward yourself and others. In many traditions, nighttime reflection is a form of cleansing, a way to purify the heart before sleep. And isn't that what we all need, to sleep not with a heavy chest, but with a lighter heart? So tonight, when you put your head on the pillow, resist the urge to escape into distraction or collapse under the weight of unprocessed thoughts. Take a moment to look back, to learn, to understand, because when you reflect at night, you don't just close the day, you prepare yourself to open tomorrow with strength. Remember this: a day without reflection is a day half-lived. A day reflected upon is a day transformed into wisdom. One of the greatest mistakes we make is carrying today's burdens into tomorrow. We treat our struggles as if they must be dragged endlessly along with us, piling one on top of another until the weight becomes unbearable. This is why so many people wake up already tired. They haven't rested, not because their bodies didn't sleep, but because their minds never let go. They fell asleep clutching the pain, the anger, the disappointments of the day, and they woke up with the same load, even heavier than before. Releasing the burdens of the day before sleeping is not about pretending nothing happened. It's not about denial or avoidance. It's about understanding that you cannot heal if you never allow yourself to put the wound down for a moment. Just as the body cannot recover from exhaustion without rest, the heart cannot recover from pain without release. Every night gives you that chance. But you must be intentional, because if you don't release the burden, it releases itself in destructive ways. Restless sleep, anxiety dreams, or waking with the same bitterness you went to bed with. Psychologically, this makes perfect sense. Neuroscientists explain that the brain continues processing emotions and memories during sleep. If you go to bed holding tightly to negativity, your subconscious will amplify it. You are essentially feeding your brain poison at the very time it is trying to repair itself. But if you practice release, whether through journaling, deep breathing, or even a simple moment of prayer, you're signaling to the mind, this weight can be set aside. You're not erasing the struggle, but you're choosing not to let it dominate your inner world as you sleep. There is also a deeper philosophical wisdom here. Life itself is a constant rhythm of holding and letting go. We hold experiences, we learn from them, but then we must release them to move forward. Imagine if a tree never let go of last season's leaves. New growth would be impossible. In the same way, if you never let go of the day's struggles, you deny yourself the chance to grow into the new season waiting for you. Release is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is a recognition that yesterday has already served its purpose and tomorrow needs fresh energy. Of course, many people struggle with the idea of letting go because they feel it is unfair. Why should I release it? They say, when the pain was real, when the betrayal was deep, when the disappointment cut me. But here is the truth. Holding on does not punish the situation, nor does it correct the wrong. It only punishes you. The burden remains yours. Release is not excusing the injustice or pretending it never hurt. Release is simply saying, I will not allow this weight to keep crushing me. It is an act of self-preservation, not denial. And the night is the perfect time for this act. The day is already gone. You cannot rewrite it, no matter how much you replay the scenes in your head. What you can do is close it with dignity and with peace. The world will demand more from you tomorrow, so why walk into it limping under yesterday's load? If you are serious about resilience, you must train yourself to release at night. There are many ways to do this. Some people write their thoughts in a notebook, as if transferring them from the mind to the page. Others spend a few minutes in meditation, focusing on their breathing until the grip of stress loosens. Many turn to prayer, placing their struggles into the hands of the divine, knowing that not everything is within their control. Whatever method you choose, the key is intention. You must tell yourself, this day has ended. I release its pain. I release its weight. I will rest, and tomorrow I will rise anew. Spiritually, this practice humbles you. It reminds you that you are human, limited, not meant to carry endless burdens without pause. It reminds you that some things are beyond your control, and that peace is found not in clinging but in surrender. Release is, at its core, an act of trust. Trust in the process of life. Trust in God. Trust that tomorrow carries its own provisions and solutions. So tonight, before you close your eyes, ask yourself, what am I still holding on to that I cannot change right now? And then, with intention, let it go. Give yourself permission to rest, because you cannot rise strong if you refuse to lay the weight down. Remember this, holding on to yesterday's burden steals tomorrow's strength. Let go tonight, so you can wake up free. One of the most transformative practices you can adopt before sleeping is gratitude. It may sound simple, even ordinary, but don't underestimate its power. Gratitude is not just saying thank you when something good happens. It is a conscious shift in perspective. It is the ability to look at your life, even in the middle of struggle, and say, there is still something here that is working, something I can appreciate, something I can hold on to. When struggles make you feel weak, gratitude gives you strength, not by erasing the struggle, but by reminding you that you are more than the struggle. Psychologists have studied the impact of gratitude extensively, and the findings are remarkable. People who practice gratitude regularly sleep better, experience lower levels of stress, and even show signs of improved mental health. Why? Because gratitude redirects the mind. Instead of replaying frustrations or failures as you fall asleep, you train your thoughts to rest on what is good, what is stable, and what gives you hope. In doing so, you allow your nervous system to calm, your emotions to stabilize, and your perspective to widen. Gratitude literally rewires the brain to seek strength rather than weakness. Philosophically, gratitude shifts the way you see existence itself. Without gratitude, life feels like a constant chase for what is missing. No matter what you achieve, you notice only the gap, the lack, the failure. But gratitude interrupts that cycle. It reminds you that even in the absence of perfection, there is still abundance. Even if today was filled with hardship, there was still a meal, still a friend, still a breath in your lungs. And that recognition is not small. It is profound, because it grounds you in the truth that life, despite its pain, is still a gift. Many people hesitate to practice gratitude during hard times because they feel it would be dishonest. How can I be grateful when everything is falling apart? They ask. But gratitude is not about ignoring reality. It does not deny pain, it simply acknowledges that pain does not have the final word. Struggle may be loud, but gratitude ensures that hope still has a voice. Think of it this way: if your room is dark and you light a single candle, does the darkness disappear completely? No, but the candle makes it bearable, navigable. Gratitude is that candle in the darkness of struggle. Practicing gratitude before bed also creates a rhythm of renewal. Every night becomes an opportunity to remind yourself that, despite today's difficulties, something went right. Maybe it was small, a kind smile, a moment of peace, an answered message. But small blessings are still blessings. By naming them, you amplify them. You go to bed with a lighter heart, and you wake up with a stronger mindset. Over time, this habit conditions you to see life through a more balanced lens. Not only what is broken, but also what is whole. A practical way to do this is very simple. Before you close your eyes, list 3 things you are grateful for. They don't have to be extraordinary. In fact, the more ordinary, the better. The warmth of your blanket, the taste of your evening meal, the fact that you made it through the day. By training your mind to notice the small blessings, you create a reservoir of strength that you can draw from when struggles overwhelm you. It may not change the situation, but it changes you, and that, in turn, changes how you face the situation. Spiritually, gratitude is deeply connected to humility. It reminds you that what you have is not entirely by your effort, but also by grace. Grace from God, from life, from the unseen forces that sustain you. Gratitude turns your focus away from entitlement and toward appreciation. Instead of asking, "Why me?" in bitterness, you begin to ask, "Why me?" in awe. Why was I given this chance, this provision, this breath? And that question softens the heart, opening it to peace. Gratitude also protects you from despair. When you are grateful, even in struggle, you declare to yourself that your life still has value, still has beauty, still has meaning. Struggle tries to convince you that everything is against you, but gratitude replies, "Not everything. Look again." And in that shift, weakness loses its grip. So tonight, as you prepare to sleep, don't let the day close only with thoughts of what went wrong. Balance the scales. Name what went right, however small. Let gratitude be the last thought you carry into your rest, because here is the truth. Gratitude doesn't change your struggle, but it changes your strength. And strength, not struggle, is what you need to carry into tomorrow. There is a powerful secret that many people overlook at night. After acknowledging your struggles, reflecting on your day, and releasing its weight, your mind is at its most receptive. This is the perfect time to plant seeds of strength for tomorrow. The way you do this is by visualization, not wishful thinking, but deliberate, purposeful imagining of yourself overcoming the very struggles that seem to weaken you. Why does this matter? Because the brain does not fully distinguish between what you vividly imagine and what you actually experience. Neuroscientists have proven that when you visualize yourself performing an action, the same neural pathways are activated as if you were truly doing it. Athletes use this technique before competitions. They picture themselves running the race, scoring the goal, lifting the weight. And when they step onto the field, their minds are already prepared for success. If the world's most resilient performers use visualization, why wouldn't you use it in the battle against life's struggles? Philosophically, visualization is an act of faith. It is choosing to believe in the possibility of a better tomorrow, even when today has been brutal. Struggle whispers to you, you are stuck, you are defeated. Visualization responds, no, I see myself rising, I see myself stronger, I see myself moving forward. It is a refusal to let your imagination be hijacked by fear and failure. Instead, you claim it as a tool for hope and progress. At night, when you close your eyes, instead of replaying what went wrong, choose to rehearse what could go right. If today you felt overwhelmed, imagine yourself tomorrow calm and composed, handling challenges with clarity. If today you felt broken, visualize yourself tomorrow walking tall, with dignity and courage. Don't just see it vaguely, picture it vividly. What does it look like? What does it feel like? The more detail you give it, the more powerful the impression on your mind. This is not self-deception. It does not mean you are ignoring reality. On the contrary, it means you are preparing yourself for it. Without visualization, your mind rehearses failure over and over, reliving mistakes, replaying conflicts, magnifying fears. With visualization, you interrupt that destructive cycle. You tell your subconscious, this is the script we will follow tomorrow. And remarkably, the subconscious listens. When the challenge arrives, you feel less surprised, less panicked, because in your mind you have already been there. You have already faced it. There is also a spiritual depth to this practice. Visualization at night is a form of intention, setting, aligning your heart and mind with trust in God's plan. It is saying, I will meet tomorrow with strength, because I believe I was created with strength inside me. It transforms your prayers and reflections into living images of hope. Instead of only asking for change, you begin to see yourself as part of that change. You become an active participant in your own growth, rather than a passive victim of circumstance. Some people resist visualization because they fear disappointment. What if I imagine better days and they never come? But notice the flaw in that thinking. You are already imagining the worst every night, and that imagination is hurting you. Why not imagine strength instead? If the mind must rehearse, let it rehearse resilience. Even if life throws unexpected obstacles, you will face them with a mind trained to expect growth, not collapse. That difference can change everything. A practical way to do this is to take one area of your struggle and create a mental picture of victory. If your struggle is fear, see yourself speaking with confidence. If it is fatigue, see yourself waking up energized and productive. If it is heartbreak, see yourself whole and at peace. Combine that vision with gratitude and release, and your heart will fall asleep not in despair, but in quiet determination. Visualization before sleep is a rehearsal for strength. Just as a builder looks at the blueprint before constructing the house, you look at the blueprint of your tomorrow before stepping into it. And the more you rehearse that vision, the more naturally you will live it. So tonight, when you close your eyes, don't just drift into sleep. Direct your imagination. See yourself rising above what tried to break you. Picture yourself stronger, calmer, more focused, more resilient. Let that be the movie your mind watches before it rests, because here is the truth. If you can see yourself strong in the silence of the night, you will wake up with the courage to live it in the light of day. The final step in this nightly journey is consistency. You see, it is easy to acknowledge your struggles once. It is easy to reflect on your day when you happen to feel inspired. It is easy to release your burdens when life feels overwhelming. It is easy to practice gratitude when you remember, or to visualize strength when motivation strikes. But the real transformation comes not from doing these things occasionally, but from making them part of your rhythm, night after night, until they become as natural as brushing your teeth or turning off the light before sleep. Consistency is what turns a practice into a habit, and a habit into a source of strength. Think about exercise. One day at the gym will not make you strong, no matter how hard you push. But if you show up consistently, even with small effort, your body adapts and grows. The same principle applies to the mind and the heart. One night of reflection will give you clarity, but 10 nights of reflection will rewire the way you think. One night of release will give you peace, but 100 nights of release will make peace your second nature. One night of gratitude will lighten your heart, but months of gratitude will make your outlook unshakable. Psychologically, consistency builds resilience because it creates predictability for the brain. The human mind thrives on patterns. When you repeat something regularly, your brain begins to expect it, prepare for it, and integrate it into your identity. If your nightly routine is to carry anger and stress to bed, your mind will expect tension every night. But if your nightly routine is to let go, give thanks, and envision strength, your brain begins to expect peace. Slowly, your default setting shifts. You no longer have to fight for calm, it arrives on its own, because consistency has trained your inner world. Philosophically, consistency represents discipline, and discipline is freedom. Many people believe freedom means doing whatever you feel like, whenever you feel like it, but true freedom is mastery, the ability to live according to your values rather than your impulses. Consistency in your nightly practice is not about restricting yourself. It is about freeing yourself from the chaos of an untrained mind. It is about taking charge of your inner state so that tomorrow does not control you. You control how you meet tomorrow. Of course, being consistent does not mean being perfect. There will be nights when you are too tired, nights when you forget, nights when you fall back into old habits. That is normal. Consistency is not about never missing. It is about always returning. If you miss one night, begin again the next. If you fall into distraction, gently guide yourself back. Over time, the pattern will hold and your strength will grow. What matters is not flawless performance, but steadfast commitment. Spiritually, consistency is a mark of sincerity. Anyone can act strong when the spotlight is on them. Anyone can say the right words in a single moment of inspiration. But who you are in the quiet of the night, when no one is watching, that is the truest reflection of your character. If you consistently acknowledge, reflect, release, give thanks, and visualize strength, you are shaping not just habits, but identity. You are declaring, "This is who I am becoming." And with every night, that declaration becomes reality. Think of it this way: each night's practice is like a drop of water falling onto a rock. One drop does little, 10 drops make a small mark, but thousands of drops falling in the same place can carve through stone. Your struggles may feel like stone, hard, immovable, unchanging. But with consistency, your nightly practices will carve through them, slowly but surely, until what once seemed unbreakable begins to shift. So do not underestimate small efforts. A few minutes of honest reflection, a brief release of the day's burden, a quiet word of gratitude, a simple visualization of strength. Done once, they seem small. Done nightly, they reshape your mind, your emotions, your resilience. Over time, you will look back and realize that the person who once felt crushed by struggles has become someone entirely different. Calmer, stronger, wiser, more at peace. Consistency is not glamorous, but it is powerful. It is the invisible thread that ties all the steps together. Without it, these practices remain scattered moments of inspiration. With it, they become a system of transformation. So, as you prepare for sleep tonight and in the nights to come, remember this: the strength you are seeking is not found in a single act, but in steady repetition. Struggles may test you, but consistency will build you. And if there is one truth to carry with you, let it be this: strength is not built in a moment of inspiration, but in the discipline of repetition.